Welcome back. This story is called The License Plate. This is a story about my dad. My father thought he was very funny. He thought he was a funny guy. And during his life, he played some practical jokes on unsuspecting strangers. And he told me about these later. And this is one of the stories called The License Plate. Before I tell the license plate story, I'm going to tell one other story about my father and his practical joking. When my sister was born, my sister's 3 years older than me, and my brother's 7 years older than her. According to my father, my mother woke up in the middle of the night and said to my father, "It's time to go. It's time to go to the hospital," because she's pregnant with my sister and she's about to be born. So instead of rushing to the hospital, my dad said that he got up and he took a shower. For some reason, 3 o'clock in the morning, he took a shower and shaved. My dad was always shaving. He had a thick beard. He was always shaving. So he shaved, he took a shower, shaved, got dressed, got their bag, went to the hospital. And in those days, the father was not in the delivery room. The father was in a waiting room. So they check in, my mom goes back to the delivery room, and my father goes into the waiting room. And he told me that while he was in the waiting room, this is again, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, there was a man there, another expectant father who was having his first child. And this guy had been in the waiting room for like 8 hours. Okay, his wife was in labor for 8 hours. Sometimes women can be in labor for 12 hours, 24 hours. So this one was very unlucky. He'd been there for 8 hours. And the guy was, my dad said the guy was like out of his mind. He was frazzled. He looked disheveled. He was all nervous and everything about his baby because he didn't know what was going on. 30 minutes after my father sat down, the nurse came in and said, "Congratulations, your wife just had a baby girl," to my father. And the guy jumps up, this stranger, total stranger to my father, jumps up and says to the nurse, "What do you mean? The guy's been sitting here for 30 minutes. I've been here for 8 hours. How can this guy possibly have his baby, now when it's only been 30 minutes and I've been here for 8 hours?" And the nurse says something to him like, "Well, just your baby hasn't been born yet." And she goes back to the nurse's station. Well, my dad, for no reason other than just for his own, benefit, his own amusement, says to this guy, stranger, he goes, "Oh, sir, your baby's already been born. Your baby was born hours ago. They're just not telling you." And the guy's like, "Really? Really?" My dad's like, yeah. My dad said, "You need to go up to the nurse's desk and you need to make a really big fuss because otherwise they're going to tell you your baby hasn't been born yet." So the guy's like, okay. So as my dad's leaving the whole ward, he sees this guy standing in front of the nurse's station, yelling at the nurses, saying, "I know my baby's been born. That guy's baby was already born. I know my baby's been born." And these nurses are saying, calm down, sir. Your baby's not been born." And my dad walked out like he was, having the last laugh. That was one event. The other one was about the license plate. In the 70s, my dad owned this big blue Cadillac, like a cobalt blue was the color, really bright, looked like a blue gumball. And at that time, when you got your license plate, they would give you a brand new plate. They didn't have stickers for every year. They would give you every year you get a new plate, and then the old plate you throw away. Well, that year, it just so happened that the plate that they issued from Missouri was blue. The background was blue with white letters. And the blue was the exact same color as my dad's car. So my dad takes the plate, he's in the DMV, he gets his plate, he goes out to the parking lot where his car is parked, and he gets down on his knees, and he's got a screwdriver. He's taking the old plate off, which is going to be trashed, and he's putting the new plate on. While this is happening, a guy, total stranger, walks past my dad holding a blue license plate because he'd just gotten the plate from the DMV. And this total stranger says to my father, "Wow, that's really cool. The plate matches your car." Okay? And my dad says to him, "Oh, no, they have plates in all colors to match all cars. What you need to do is you need to go back inside and make a really big stink because they're going to tell you, no, we only have blue. But if you make a really big stink, they'll give you the plate that matches your car." The guy's like, "Wow, thanks, mister." And he turns around and he heads back into the building. And that's the story of the license plate. Be sure to read my book, Broccoli Time by Dante. It's the best parenting book you're ever going to read. I got to the bathroom again.